I've been an educator for the last 15 plus years, working in the school system. I just know as an educator, just the day-to-day process of how things go and the thinking and the changes in moods, and you're trying to help everyone else. You're engulfed in lesson planning. So when I think about a child in school, it's a lot more than even the educator, because a child has so many different peers and interactions.
We're going through something right now because she has pandas. I don't know if you know what this is. So she wound up having strep throat about 7 times. And then the last one they didn't catch. And then it goes to the brain and it causes like OCD and anxiousness and all this other stuff. So that on top of the type 1 diabetes, on top of you're 8 years old and you're going through puberty, is like the whole world is crashing down around you.
Right. It's so much more than diabetes.
She's also one of the only children of color in her school. Well, in her class, not in her school, but in that particular class. So we're going through the whole, like, how come this person has straight hair and I can't have straight hair, and why can't it's, people don't understand that even that can cause a spike, because then now she's upset. I might have to inbox them and see what is going on.
All right. I was just looking at a note real fast.
No, you're fine. I made you wait. I'm good. There's still no readings on her Dexcom. Still, it hasn't warmed up.
Now, do they allow her to connect to the Wi-Fi in the school?
I had to go through a whole bunch of things for that. But the 504 worked out. Now, taking apart the DOE, is that going to help me in any way, shape, or form?
There's going to be a lot more self-advocacy. Hopefully the school will put someone in place. The district will put someone in place that will handle that, because if they take apart the DOE, then it's more subject to state. So if anything occurs with your child in school, in the school system, then the state will be attached to that. But I don't know.
I personally would move back home. I grew up in Jamaica in Spanish Town, but the healthcare system there is not for what my daughter needs.
Right. I mean,
I would move home in a heartbeat. I promise you.
It's too much going on right now for anyone, and for us as a people not to see that, not to feel that, not to understand that, then that's an issue in itself, because these things are directly affecting us, not just day by day, second by second, affecting us physically and affecting us mentally, because we don't know what the next thing is to be taken away.
I don't know if you saw Jayde Michele's first commercial she did with Beyond Type 1. It was with the Helmsley family. The commercial was based around being misdiagnosed because of the color of your skin. The lady told me to my face, the doctor, I didn't think to check for type 1 diabetes. Black children don't get that. They get type 2 diabetes because you guys eat like crap. When I tell you I jumped over that table, like, I'm banned from that hospital and I'm okay with it. We moved.
You just brought up a great topic. Let me give an introduction of the podcast first, but let me write it down right here. Welcome to the Chronically Will podcast, where we have real conversations with community that need to be heard. On today's episode, I'm taking a trip to New York. It's less than a 2-hour ride away from me to meet with Dee. Dee is the mother of Jayde Michele. Jayde Michele is a young, growing, blossoming child living with type 1 diabetes, pandas, and also just the growth and hormones of a young person. Dee, I thank you for gifting me your time, your energy, and this space to sit down and have a conversation with you.
No, we thank you, because without you, we have no way to get our voice out, honestly.
I'm doing everything in me to reach the masses, to change the shade of what diabetes looks like, because we need to normalize it, because there's so many stigmas, so many concrete barriers in our way that we cannot move. But hopefully, grouping and showing people that we are forced together, it will change the narrative. It will
It has to.
change
Something
that perceived notion you just told me about.
even the endocrinologist that we do see, she tells me I'm like the only parent that kind of emails her with the changes that I made. I don't call for every little thing. I'll send emails every once in a while. Like, I noticed she was running high, blah, blah, blah. I bumped it up 0.5. Are you okay with that? Because I'm cool with it. She's like, but you don't call me for every single thing. Like, newly diagnosed parents just, oh my God, it's this, it's
Nonstop.
whatever. I never called. I was a vet tech. So not that my daughter's an animal, you understand what I'm saying? But like,
Right,
I
right.
kind of tried to use that knowledge, put it into that. And then I realized that this is not a one size fits all for nobody. So
Right.
like, you can't just say her carb count is 1 to 12 because at different times of day, her carb count is different.
True. Yeah, you having that background of just having to figure things out. It's more of a strategic background, strategic approach to how you can change and alter things than to just scream at the teacher. You know, like we were in school so many years ago. Look, I'm 42.
I'm 49 with an 8-year
Look,
old.
see? Look, 49 with an 8-year-old. We were in school and we remembered like there were some times like when we were diligent in our studies and everything, like certain classes, like we really loved certain teachers we really loved. But then there were some classes where we may have like slacked off a bit. And then there comes like midterms or finals, and we like, what the hell do I do?
Oh yeah, no, she's only in second grade, so she's still on the like,
Right,
one teacher
right,
type of thing. Next year is when it gets real. Next year is
right.
when they start switching classes and they do like the what do you call that? The testing
Mm-hmm.
where they stand and stuff like that. So next year is when it gets real.
Right. So I was comparing that to you being a parent who only calls the endo or the educator about certain things as compared to those other parents who are like, keep on calling because they don't
Oh
know
no,
what
no,
to do.
the funniest thing is if I had the endo here, she would tell you I have I might have the card, but I don't have it right now. That I've taught her so much about the internet world of type 1 diabetes that she didn't know. She didn't know about this podcast. She didn't know that there was Kylene with Black Diabetic Girl because I sought out an actual Black woman endocrinologist who was a type 1 diabetic so I could show my daughter that you could be anything you want to be. It was the hardest thing to do on the planet, but I did it. And she didn't know about sugar pixels. She didn't know about none of it. Every time we go, I kind of like bring something new to the table.
And it's crazy because I'm pretty sure she thought that she knew a lot.
No, she definitely.
But you bought her, so you are equally learning together. That's a
Yeah.
good thing. That's a good
And
thing.
I love that she's open to learning. The first one, the first endo we had was like, no, this is how we're going to do it, or we're not going to do it at all. And I was like, then we're not going to do it at all.
Right. Let me tell you, so last month when I went to go see my endocrinologist, I always teach them more than they teach me, and they love that. Like I'll get the doctor and the nurse practitioner that comes in, and they're like the doctor, I see her once a year. She came and she was like 5.4, and I said 5.6, and she was like, she rolled her eyes at me. But the NPR, she was like, how? I was telling her about Tandem Control IQ Plus, and she hadn't heard about it. And I said, well, I said, you're the endocrinologist. And she was like, my educators haven't said anything about it either. So while we're in the office, I pull it up on my phone. I show her, like, I even show her like TikTok and reels like of diabetes educators talking about it. And she was like, wow, this is amazing. I can't believe this technology has gotten this far. And I'm like, if I wasn't here on this day,
My daughter's a little hesitant to try that one because I think you have to sign like a 4-year thing. She would like to try it,
that contract.
but she doesn't want to. I don't know how to explain it. She's in gymnastics. She's a swimmer, softball, skateboarding, but mostly swimming. So to her, the Omnipod gives her that freedom to like, you know what I mean?
And Omnipod is
Be the mermaid.
truly the technology she knows. Like
Yeah.
when you say insulin pump, that's what she knows.
That's the one that comes to the one other than that was what was the one, the Medtronic, the one that had the big long tubing? Yeah, she was not with that.
What was that, the 770G? Yeah, in 4 years. She'll be 12
12. Yeah.
going on 12 going on 21s.
So she's 8 going on 21, so 12 going on 30.
Right. I remember I used to say that to my daughter when she was 8, and she's 14 going on 15 now, going into high school.
My daughter's
Yeah.
also 4'9" at 8. So they said when they did the bone test, she's probably going to be about 6'3". I'm 5'3", so I'm in for it.
Mhm. Look, she's going to tell her keep growing. Every advantage of every opportunity she can.
You know, she wants to go to a couple of things where there's like other kids and stuff like that, but there's never any in New York. There's never
So
any like meetups.
I wrote down because I know a mom in New York, in Brooklyn. I don't know if you know her, Lesada. She's Puerto
No,
Rican. She has a daughter named Leia.
I'm Cuban and Puerto Rican, but I grew up in Jamaica. Don't ask. That's a long story.
Okay. I mean, Bob Marley came here, so
So to go from Cuba to America legally without having to do papers and stuff, you could have went through Canada or Jamaica. So my mother decided to go to Jamaica and then fell in love and made
gotcha.
6 brothers. Then we came to America.
Gotcha. You have 6 brothers.
6 brothers.
We'll get into that also. But yeah, Lesada, her daughter Leia, trying to remember when she was diagnosed. I think maybe 4 years ago or so. But her daughter's 10. I mean, your daughter's
Okay.
8, she's 10.
My daughter thinks she's 12 though, so don't worry about it.
I mean, I'll link you two together because she's always trying to do something.
Because we're up by, I don't know if you know New York like that. So we're up in like by Poughkeepsie and Newburgh, up in the
Okay.
Hudson Valley or whatever.
I know what you're talking about.
So her endocrinologist is down in Chappaqua, like where the Boston Children's Hospital is, down like by Westchester County. And the train, I can get to Brooklyn like that. When we moved to America, I moved to Brownsville.
Okay.
So I guess I'm considered a Brooklynite. I don't know. I didn't move here until 6 years ago. So
Right, using Brownsville, telling them Annie up.
actually, I know them.
Look, that fool. Perfect timing. Look, I got to write down some show titles just to keep it.
We can name it Ante Up.
Look, that would be great. But D,
Yes.
could you please give me a summary of who you are?
Wow. I know this might sound stupid to most people. I'm a soldier. There's no other word for it. And I don't spell it how you would spell it. It's SOULJAH.
I know.
I put all my stuff into Jah Rastafari, and I just hope
Like
that,
Sister Soldier.
yeah, Jah's got it. I got to put it in his hands.
What else you got to tell me about you?
Here's the funniest thing. So I was with somebody for 20 years and we split because we didn't have any children together. And then I met Jayde Michele's father and I was pregnant within 8 weeks. And he wound up being the most abusive, pardon my language, piece of shit that you ever met in your life. We have no contact whatsoever.
We all come across those things in our lives. But like you said, you got a higher power, higher authority.
And I think Jah makes no mistakes. My mother fell in love with who she fell in love with. I don't know if you know the song. She fell in love with a Rasta man. So my brothers don't look like me. My brothers look like my daughter. So my daughter does have black men in her life to guide her. As much as her father doesn't want to, they stood up and they're doing the job. Because to me, that's important. I can never be a black man in America. I could never be a black woman in America. I'm Hispanic. I'm never going to be that. So I'm never going to understand that. Nobody looks at Jayde Michele and says, look at the half Hispanic, half black girl. She's a black girl in America, and that's what it is.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's strength.
No.
That's strength. And
But I'll never be that. You understand? That's why the doctors that I chose on purpose so that she sees that you can be anything that you want to be, and you can.
And I love that for you, and I love that for her, that you aligned her wellness and her well-being. Even if they don't have conversations, well, I'm sure she is, because any young type 1 diabetic I know are brilliant. Like seriously. Like if you were diagnosed at like 2, 3, like you were like if you're 8, you're like 15, like mentally, like for real. Like it's crazy.
The head of her class in social studies, they did some testing like 5 weeks ago. She's actually has a higher score than the 5th graders. Like she surpassed the 5th graders in science and social studies. She did get in trouble though. And y'all could put this on me. So for Black History Month, they wanted her to do Rosa Parks. So we did the real story of Rosa Parks. Mm-hmm. That it was a young, dark-skinned Black woman sitting on that bus, and Rosa Parks that they chose to show you was a light-skinned lady with a car. So we broke down the real history of Rosa Parks, and then we did a paper on Marcus Garvey. So she got in a little bit of trouble for that. I told them, we're not going to fit your narrative anymore. You're not going to teach them what you want.
Right. In trouble for I
Because
don't understand
they didn't believe that Rosa Parks was not the person on the bus.
because they went off of a media depiction of a human being.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because we know that the majority of those films and photos are from people who say how it is. White people made like depicted the films and their narratives, took apart things to make it just like how things are today, how they're making things today, to make them feel better for the wrongs. And they're not trying to right the wrongs.
No.
They're just trying to make
Listen,
themselves feel better
I got
for
rid
the
of my welcome
wrongs.
mat after seeing Sinners over the weekend. I'm not even going to tell you no stories. My
Gotcha.
welcome mat got chucked right in the garbage.
I haven't seen it, but yesterday my daughter taking her to the orthodontist and she's like, I want to go see Sinners. This is the whole look. Let me tap into this because she's 14 going on 15. I said, who you want to go see Sinners with? And she's like, Raleigh, he went to go see it the other day with his brother because his brother's like 18, 19. I said, it's an R-rated film. I said, you want to go with Raleigh to see it? I said, what me and mommy tell you? There is no one-on-one outings. She always says, he's just my friend. He's just little girl. I was 15.
I was 15 once too.
Right.
And in Brownsville.
Right. And I'm like, and she's like, well, I want to go see it. I said, you don't want to like horror films and whatever. He said it's not that scary. I said, but he want to go see it again? I said, he just saw it yesterday. She's like, yeah. I said, okay, we'll talk about that. But if you're going out, it's going to be a group outing with you and your friends. There's going to be an adult present. Like I said, because I know you're going to get older. I know there's going to be small eyes. I understand that. It's a part of growing.
Part of life.
I said, but the little things, just let me know. Right. So yeah, Sinners.
Yeah,
I'm not going. It was
if
good.
you watch it, it's deep and it kind of goes into the original like Santeria and all of that kind of stuff. Like, so putting welcome outside your door is welcoming all types of energy.
Right. Welcoming all types of energy.
That welcome mat got ripped in half, chucked in the garbage.
And I remember hearing that as a young person and probably from like my grandma because she's of indigenous background. Her mother was a foster native woman. And my grandma used to always like everything about her was like holistic and spiritually inclined. And I remember like, who y'all trying to welcome into your house?
See, now being a Jamaican, we're very welcoming. We want everybody to come over. So, you don't even need a welcome mat. We feed everybody.
Right. Just walk in, no locks on doors type.
I actually just was starting to, I want to say me and her dad split during the pandemic, 2020. So I gave myself time to heal. I started talking to somebody and he got mad. He's like, oh, so you just make soursop juices and just bring it out to all the local people in your complex and stuff? And I'm like, absolutely. I think that's flirting. I think it's being a neighbor, helping people. I don't know if you know about soursop. So it's a very healing fruit. And I get it every now and then. So I made juices. I put them in a thing and I brought them out. But it starts conversations like, oh, this tastes good. And I'm like, yeah, but it can cure this amount or stave off cancers or things, clean your lungs out, help your blood pressure stay down. So it starts a healthy conversation. Then it gets people interested in wanting to keep having it. Because fruit in America is just, actually, let's be real. And I'm not down in America, but fruit in America is a science project.
And it's not really American fruit. It's what most of it is imported in. And then once it's imported in, it goes through all of these different avenues to reach the consumer. So it's all these hands that touch it, and all of these injections, sprays, chemicals released onto this fruit. It's not wholesome. I was recording with a young lady from India about a month or two ago, and she was telling me about the mangoes in India. And she was like, they're so sweet. They're the best. They're natural. We grow them in front of our houses and pick them
Nothing making mango. I don't care what anybody says.
She told me, she said, I went here and there. She said, I lived in New York for a year. They said they had the best mangoes that were coming from wherever. She was like, I'm telling you. The Indian mangoes, I can't remember the name of them. She gave them a certain name. She said we grow two different kinds.
I know the ones you're talking about, but there's a place in the Bronx that I go to. He's Belizean. He gets everything from back home, like nest berry, the custard apple, all that stuff. I make a trip once a month. I get all of that stuff, chop it up, freeze it, and that's what you'll eat. Because the thing to me is that it has fiber because it actually has the seeds, half of the things that we're buying now, like bananas back home have seeds and they're small. They're
Hmm.
not big, doofy things that don't have seeds. Like,
Right, because people don't know that a banana is truly a berry.
well, I also call what you guys call avocado, we call pear. So, I have a
Mm.
pear with my salad. When I first came here and I asked for a salad with a pear, the lady brought me like a pear, like an American pear. And I was like, no, like a pear, I don't know why we call it that, but we do.
I did not know that.
Yeah, we call them pears.
See a lot of people mingling and all types of accents and
You have to get Katie to come.
right.
Brothers, you have to get Katie to come down because
Okay.
her younger son and my daughter are best friends.
Best friends.
Yeah, they're on
Right.
FaceTime all the time on Roblox. She's in Minnesota for true.
Oh yeah, she's in Minnesota.
I need to come to Minnesota. I said,
Right,
you
right.
have cold all to yourself. Yeah, I mean, I don't want none of it.
In Minnesota. Yeah, we've had some great conversations. I actually did a painting for her.
I know, I saw it. It's so pretty.
Thank you.
I don't have the patience for any of that. I just don't.
Yeah. So you're more than what you just told me. You gave me like, I'm just this. Nah,
I'm a regular mom.
You told me about your strength. You're a realist.
You have to be.
You're a realist. You're speaking your truths.
You can't live in a bubble and think.
Authentic. 100%. And that's what you've been saying for the last 20 minutes, talking about your authenticity. Because I don't know if you've heard this, but you've been talking about everything from the education system, the diagnosis, the fruits, the foods, the spirituality. Like you've been talking about how it has to be real and authentic.
And
Like
it has to all intertwine.
right. You stand true.
You can't have one without the other. You have to like.
It has to have that equal mesh.
But I can say this. I took my daughter yesterday to go get blood work. She had to meet a psychologist because they wanted to give her medicine for ADHD. And I told them I wanted them to check for all these other things before you just go ADHD medication.
Check thyroid or
Yeah,
everything.
they did that. They checked for pandas, which we know she has. They checked for like Epstein-Barr virus and like vitamin deficiencies. Because you have to remember, brown skin doesn't suck in vitamin D as well as anything.
Right.
And I mentioned that she has the MTHFR gene disorder. I don't know if you're familiar with that. So it means that you don't detox correctly and you don't hold vitamin B12 correctly.
Okay.
So she was impressed that I knew about that, like together. So she has this thing called the MTHFR gene disorder. I have it too. You don't detox correctly. Your homocysteine does not, how can I say it? Like the average person will detox things, someone with MTHFR disorder. So there's different ones. There's C677T, I think it is, and there's A1298A. So one has like a blood clotting disorder. That's not the one that we have. We have the one that causes anxiety and things like that. And you don't hold on to like folate correctly. So they gave her B12 shot last night. It was like having a different kid within 20 minutes. She was impressed that I knew what MTHFR was. And I'm like, but 95% of people with the MTHFR gene have type 1 diabetes. So it has to do something with one of the pathways.
Definitely.
Yeah, she was like, you should get into like genetics. I'm like, I'm 49. It's time to get into like.
Right. That's just like in November, I was diagnosed with SPS, a stiff person syndrome. And it's like 88% of the people who have that have type 1 diabetes. And like I'm big into research, genetics, science. Like when we talk about those things, like
I think our favorite Trinidadian, Celine Dion, doesn't she have that? She's Trinidadian, right?
Yep. So I even went through, I was like, I did see someone in her family had celiac. And I said, I bet they don't even see that link.
Yeah, the autoimmune.
Speaking of links, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson had lupus, systemic lupus, vitiligo. Tito Jackson, who died, when did Tito die? Last year?
Last year, I believe.
Last year.
Yeah.
Tito's grandson has type 1 diabetes. Talking about your authenticity, but something I gift flowers when I have these conversations. So D, my sister, I'm going to take this moment to speak to you because what year was your daughter diagnosed?
June 8th, 2019.
June 8th, 2019.
I'll never forget that day.
I know by winter 2019, I knew of your daughter.
Oh, yes.
And then 2020, your baby was the face of children living with T1D.
Oh, yeah. And Pod was taking things and a couple other people. Yeah.
Right.
They always ask first, which I think is great. And I never turned it down.
Right. And that shares with me that you took an approach, a hands-on approach. You did not back down. You said, I got to figure this out. And the more that I know, the more information I receive, the better my child will be, not only taken care of by me, but taken care of by the world. And as you grew with that, your child grew with that also, because you made sure that she was learning through the process. And we see that from my view. We do. Anyone, if I'm out in public or whatever, if I hear the name Jayde Michele, I'm going to look around.
She's the only one, honestly. Like, we went somewhere and she wanted to get something with her name on it. She wound up getting a cup that said, "They'll never have my name on the cup."
They won't. They won't. She's original. She's original, and she comes from nurturing, blossoming, growth, and tree of an original, which is you. She's a direct branch of you.
I do it all alone, too.
Look, no limit soldier.
Honestly, let me not lie, because without you all on the internet, I would probably cry myself to sleep on multiple nights a month. I reach out.
So I want to gift you those flowers because we've seen your tears. We've seen the makeup running down. I remember.
Yep.
We've seen your strength. We've seen everything, and you have not sugarcoated it. You've allowed your people with like-minded people to be a part of this journey, and you continue to, because I know that you know that you are helping others. Your child is helping others just by being who you are naturally. So I must gift you those flowers and thank you for allowing you and your child's representation, because it truly matters. It truly matters, and not often are people given the flowers that they deserve in this life we live. I understand. Once I'm gone, I'm still going to be in the spirit. I'm still going to be around. I know, but while I'm here, we're leaving a lasting legacy that will continue. You know, it will continue. One of my greatest human heroes, one Bob Marley. My youngest son was born on Bob Marley's birthday, February 6th, and I let him know that every year. That spirit that you have, that he have, that we have, there's legacy behind that. Like, it makes people dig deep into the chapters of one's life.
You do know that's Jayde Michele's middle name, right?
What?
It's Jayde Michele Nesta Marley.
I didn't know that.
When she gets in trouble, that's all you hear out the window. Jayde Michele Nesta Marley.
It shows that it was meant to be, to sit down and have this conversation with you, to allow you to share this authenticity that is you, because you have a baby that was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes as a baby. Really?
And I was ignored. I was sent home 7 times while she was in DKA, and I was told that I was being an overbearing mom.
Right.
Just a stomach virus.
Do you remember that diagnosis story? Like, I know you do, but could you share as much as you can?
Big Prince fan. June 7th, birthday. Every year I watch Purple Rain. She had thrown up the night before. I brought her to like the regular pediatrician. She said there was a stomach bug going around, so don't mind it any. So I'm like, all right, fine. But I asked her, I said, I came to you 4 times before. She'd been drinking a lot more water. She was potty trained. Now she's just peeing all over the place. Pardon me. She's very angry all the time. Like, it was just different. I was watching Purple Rain, and I don't know if like The Exorcist, like she just sat up and like the puke was everywhere. Like, it was horrible. So I lived 4 blocks away from emergency room. I said, you know what? Let me go down to the emergency room. They looked at her. Oh, she's super lethargic. This, that, the third. It's nothing to worry about. Go home, give her bread, give her Gatorade. This is what I'm doing. So I'm giving carbs and carbs and carbs and carbs and carbs and carbs and carbs. I woke her up to bring her outside, and she just sat on the floor and like laid down in the park. I'm talking about asleep. I noticed that the clothes were falling off of her. So I picked her up. I brought her home. I put her on the scale. She lost 11 pounds in a day. And when I called her name, she wouldn't even lift her head. So at that point, I said, pardon me. I called the EMT. The EMT came in, and he said he knew what it was. He called the emergency room and told them to call the life flight, because he had put like some type of bag. I don't know what it's called. They got her urine somehow without her, like in a bag. He tested it, and at that point, it was over 2,000. So he looked at me in my face and he said, we're going to get to this life fight. And if she makes it, and that's a big if, your life changes from here on out. And he said, if you would have made this phone call, she would not be here. So we landed, and She got the diagnosis at 12:02 a.m. and it's never been the same.
Thank you.
No, you're good.
Thank you for not only gifting or sharing that story, but thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom, for being a mother, meaning a nurturing, caretaking provider, for seeking the best for your child and continuing that care and that cycle, because your motherly
instincts.
yes.
I sat on the bathroom floor and I told her, "You're not dying on my watch." I'll never forget that. Like, I literally had her in my arms. I was like, "You are not dying on my watch." I didn't know if I was going to walk to a hospital, but it just wasn't going to happen.
And it's not going to happen because not only are you continuing that, but she's able to learn that. She knows you may have been 41 years young when you had her, but still you had 4 decades of trial, tribulations, ins, outs, ups, downs, over, unders that prepared you.
Oh yeah, I was over my hot girl summer stuff by the time I had her. I didn't want to be the creepy aunt in the club anymore.
It prepared you for her.
And it was a time to be alive. I got to see Jay-Z in the tunnel. I've seen things that other people. I was on stages with Freaky Ty with the Lost Boys. Like, I've lived a life, and now I live this life, and I'm okay with it.
It's just another chapter.
Yeah, and I tell her it doesn't define you. The diagnosis doesn't define you at all.
Right. Because I mean, she's brilliant. Mom's brilliant. Look,
she's a little too brilliant sometimes with her bright mouth.
I hear you. Yeah, I'm sure it has changed you and affected you in ways that you didn't even know.
Some people don't do diversities. We do a big yard style cookout every year. This year's theme is the insulin and I, wicked, yeah. But we do a big yard style cookout. Things are rice and peas. I make patties from scratch, rum punch and stuff, and the kids get to hang out and play in the park. And most people are like, "Why would you celebrate that day?" I'm like, "I'm celebrating me and her in a way."
Well, it took me maybe, I don't know, 15 years before 15, 16, 17 years before I even acknowledged, like, to others that I had diabetes. I wasn't hiding it. I just didn't see diabetes. Especially, I didn't see Black men with diabetes at all. And once I reflected on that, I was like, Will, this is your second chance at life. Like, you owe it to you. Celebrate. And today I celebrate my diversity more so than I do my birthday. I tell my mom and dad my birthday belongs to y'all. Like, that's y'all day.
This belongs to me.
Right.
That's why me and Jayde Michele always come up with like a real theme. It's something that she gets into. It's something for her to become a part of. Just like, we have a water park near us, maybe like 10 minutes away from us. It's probably like the biggest water park in New York. She sees so many in the wild, but she gets super happy to see Black men who have it in the wild. And there's a couple of them, and one's a bodybuilder. He's like a world renowned, like I guess he does the, what do you call them, the battles or whatever. Mm-hmm. And every time he sees her, it gives her a high five, and they talk about how their A1C is and stuff. And you can see the change on her face. Like,
how she lights up.
Yeah. She sees him and he's like, Jayde Michele. She's like, Will. His name is Will too. And they run. It's like a movie scene. We've never even exchanged numbers, but he knows we're going to be at that water park, and he knows he's going to see her.
Right. It's like a celebrity.
Yeah. I'm just Jayde Michele's mom. I don't have a name.
Right.
And I walk around here, they're like, Jayde Michele's mom, Jayde Michele's mom.
Right. He's a celebrity to her, and she's a celebrity to him.
And it's good for them to see other people, like, even all the little girls that wear the pumps and stuff in the park, you could see it. Even if it's like a little nod, they give each other acknowledgement and they keep it moving.
It's almost like that shared superpower energy. Like, I know your strength.
Yeah, there's some kids that ask her, like, what is that? You know what I mean? Some days she wants to explain it, and some days she doesn't. And I tell her, you don't owe anybody an explanation. If you feel like it, cool. If you don't have to be rude about it. You could just say, hey, it's something personal, and keep it moving. That's it.
Sometimes I speak to people often about with this diagnosis. Today more so, because latter years in the past, we hit a lot of like things when it came to like mental, emotional, psychological concerns and issues. But we know for our overall well-being, both physically and mentally, we gotta bring them together. We can't have one well without the other being well.
Nope.
Like it's a 50-50, it's a partnership. How do you stay mentally and emotionally at your best while having all of these other nuances that are living with diabetes, such as
Therapy.
therapy?
I avoided it for so many years, but it's not a bad thing. It was really not. I have a sauna in the house and I work out an hour a day, no matter how tired. If it's 1 o'clock in the morning, it's getting done. It doesn't matter. I'm going to work out. Jayde Michele has been in therapy since she's 3. She also, and I this might sound funny, but I'm kind of happy she got diagnosed at 2 rather than 12, 13, 14, because she does not know life
Without.
without this. So there was no like going to the movies, just having popcorn, and whatever. It's always been a carb count, a weight, and that like there's no other knowledge of life prior to that.
Right, that transition during adolescence where like there's rebellion and all of
I
those
mean, I
things.
know there's going to be some at some point. I don't
There's
think it's
there,
going to be as bad.
right, but she
I hope
knows that she knows she has to care for her diabetes no matter what. Like
Yeah.
it's a part of her. It's part of her makeup.
She doesn't know life without it. I feel like if she would have got it at 13, 14, it would be way
Right.
different.
Because she'd be like, I remember when I was able to do this. Like,
And let me say this to the parents of the newly diagnosed children. Give yourself time to grieve. Give yourself time to grieve because spontaneity goes out of the window. You have to grieve that spot. You can't just be like, we're going to go to the mall. Let's just go. It's, do I have insulin on me? Do I have an extra pump on me? Do I have stickers on me? We use Basquimi. I don't know, whoever, whatever. It's always having a backpack somewhere. Yeah, it's always having that within reach. It's never just let's get up and go. That all changes. So give yourself space and grace to grieve that spontaneity, or you will become really angry at this diagnosis. And it's okay to be angry at the diagnosis, but you do have to move on.
you don't want to become the crazy person in the room, in all rooms, spaces. You want,
If you got to scream in that pillow, scream in that pillow. Get it done.
if you got to turn on the shower and cry, you do. Take that
I've cried in
walk.
my pantry. Don't laugh. I've cried in my pantry with a pack of Oreos.
Look, it happens. Soak up the bread. Do what you can for you because, like during this diagnosis, like I tell everyone, like, and I speak this to medical providers and teams. I even created a one-pager for it. Like when people are diagnosed with a chronic health condition, and specifically this one, it's a traumatic experience for the parents. Seriously. If you're older and you're diagnosed with this, it's a traumatic experience for you.
You
Like,
question a lot.
question everything. Like, why aren't mental health therapists aligned with chronic health? Why is this something that you have to seek out as a parent? Why is this something that a 20-year-old newly diagnosed has to seek out? Like when they already never ever spoke about their mental well-being.
But we also have to talk about the fact that, especially Hispanics, I know from my family, and I have both sides because you have to remember my mother fell in love in Jamaica, so we have all of that. But especially in the brown and black, mental health gets shoved under the rug. There's nothing wrong with you. Suck it up. Boys don't cry. Ray, all that other stuff. Just go to therapy.
You must know that I have it on here on my note. I have it written down. I'm looking at it. It says, sharing with loved ones. They think it was temporary. Did you ever get the blame for it? Was it hard to realize it was a lifestyle? It wasn't a lifestyle disease.
My brothers told me to give my daughter onion water. They would go away. My mother passed away in 2014. My father's been dead since 1993. So I don't really have aunts and uncles. Everybody's back home in Jamaica. To them, if she drank a bush, everything would be fine. It wasn't anything blamed on me. His family mostly blames it on me. But then I took his children to TrialNet, and they have more markers for it than she does. He has 2 older children.
So now we know what side it came from.
Not that I blame him.
I know it's no blame, but
it's like you're not going to sit there and say that I did this, that, and the third when it comes from where it comes from.
Right. It's not a lifestyle disease at all. Like nothing.
Oh no, and I'm not gonna lie. I was in that life flight with her, and I was like talking to the.
You were thinking about the Oreos.
No. It's like, oh my god, it was
that juicy juice.
Yeah, it was the goldfish. It was the goldfish I gave her like 5 days ago. I remember I even said something to the doctor when she was diagnosed. I was like, I ate Oreo cheesecake when I was pregnant, and she was like, Miss, you could have ate 9,000. Like this.
Mhm. Right. It's not like there was a tube
You
that
kind of get thrown into the lion's den with pork chop drawers on. That's the only way I can explain it.
say that again.
You get thrown into the lion's den with pork chop drawers on.
Got you. Got you.
There's no gradual.
Those chuletas.
Yeah, there's no gradual way into this. This is type 1 diabetes. And they don't know it. They don't know what the carb counts are. They don't know what the basal is. It's all a guessing game at first. But there's no like, oh, well, you don't have to give insulin for this week, or you could take off Christmas, or you could take off New Year's, or you could take off on your birthday. You are chucked into this with like, oh, there's not like, all I remember was sitting in the PICU, and I hate saying this, but being on Facebook and looking for groups just so I had somebody out there that could tell me that this was going to be okay.
Right. There's no like, well, it is like you're in a burning building during diagnosis. You're at a burning building, you're holding your baby, and someone's telling you to jump and we'll catch you. But there's no trampoline at the bottom. So you're like, you want me to jump and you're going to catch me? I'm supposed to have faith and depend on you to be able to catch me and my baby? Like, it's a lot more than that. Because once you fall, even if you fall into the arms of an endocrinologist who does everything to your liking, to your baby's liking and well-being, you fall into those arms, you still got to go home.
Yeah. Just like the first endocrinologist gave us diluted insulin, and she said it was okay for her to be in the 300s. And I was like, nah, that's not for me. Because apparently she had to have it for a while, because when she was diagnosed, her A1C was 16.2. So it was something that was going on for a while. Like I said, but I kept telling them she's acting different. But everything was just, it's hot out. It's this. It's like they had a million excuses. They gave the diluted insulin and they were just like, oh, no, it's cool for her to be 300. And I was like, no, it's not.
No, it's not. And
No.
you know that today.
And they were fired immediately.
Like, like that lingering blood sugar of 300, how it affects first it's cognitive. Like you can look at your child. Like,
yeah,
I know that blood sugar high, baby.
Just like that's why I tend, if it's running higher and she's outside playing, because we live like in a community like where there's like parks inside of the complex. The other parents will be like, oh, I'm outside today. You can come outside tomorrow. I tend to go outside anyway, because if that thing is over 180, she gets clumsy because she gets aggravated quicker.
Mm-hmm. And it's great that you're sharing or teaching her that now, because I'm going to let you know every day I get adults that come or say like, well, my blood sugar, I'm usually okay with it being 300-400. Not until I'm at 500-600 do I feel a certain type of way. And I'm like, baby, like you're killing your body and you don't even know it. Like you don't realize how great or how focused you could be if you got those blood sugars down to below that 180, get it in that 70 to 140, 150 range. Yeah. Like, and they're like, I'm okay. I'm like, but you don't know. You really don't know that you're okay.
So the first endocrinologist told me it was okay for her to ride in the 300s because I, as a single mother, needed sleep. And I said, I will lose all the sleep on the face of the planet for that to be under 150.
It's a temporary thing, right?
Yeah. At some point, she'll take it all the way over, and you can't. I had to learn the hard way that you're not beating growth spurts. It's like giving.
Not at all.
Like I had to succumb and understand that you're not beating a growth spurt. You're not beating a virus, because usually that's how I know she's getting something. So like the day before, she'll just run low no matter what you do. And then
I have to link you with some parents of like 2 to 5 year olds.
That's fine.
That's the one thing I always tell them when they come to me. I'm like, Will, it's stuck at 360. And I'm like, first your baby needs some insulin. You need to, like, you don't got to wait. Get that baby that insulin that's needed. But then they're like, do you see this? They were fine. And then it just start going. I'm like, it looks like growth spurts to me. Like,
you have to realize you're not beating a growth spurt.
You're not. Nothing is.
You're not.
Unless it's some kind of automatic thing that
you're not.
Right. Like we're not even beating them. Like as we grow.
I can tell when she's sleeping. If I measure her the next day and that number was stubborn overnight, I'm like, see, wasn't beating it. Just like when she had RSV, she was low for 2 days straight. And then once that fever kicked in, I wasn't getting her. But I at least let her ride at like 180. I'm not doing the 250, none of that. She had to go on prednisone And the endocrinologist was like, oh, just up it like 10%. I was like, oh, we're going to up it 150%. That's what we're going to do.
Look, and my recommendation is between 100 and 200%.
Yeah.
Like,
I know how to play with you.
right.
That A1C doesn't define you. It's not, she's not going above a 6.5 right now. That's
Right,
how,
right.
because, you know, even the endo was like, oh, I like it about 7. I like what you like, but I like what I like. And she doesn't push, you know what I'm saying? She doesn't push me because my daughter has minimal lows. Okay.
Right. Your child is now 8 years young and growing. She was diagnosed 6 years ago. They say talk about the terrible twos. That was like hell on Hot Wheels. Or
Threes is actually worse because 3 is when they
threes.
get like a little bit of like opinion.
Uh-huh. Twos are no's, threes are whys.
Oh, and then if you tell them to stop asking why, I actually have it on tape. Jim Michelle said, "How come? How come is just another way to ask friggin' why." Like
When did she actually go into school? Did she do preschool? Like
we did
three,
preschool on
four?
a farm because it was during COVID.
Okay.
So we did like a farm preschool just so that she would know how to do other things in life. So
Right,
they taught like sewing. They taught like milking a cow, like having your own farm, like cucumbers and things like that. So we did that. And then she went back when they opened the schools up, like she went into kindergarten though. But she's a January baby, so she's always going to be the oldest in the class because you had to wait.
January the what?
24th.
Okay.
I'm the 7th. She's the 24th. You're not, well, you're still a Capricorn, so I got you. But yeah, them Aquarius babies, they're creative though. They're super creative. They're really opinionated.
How was it for her transitioning into school? First, I mean, she's all she knows is diabetes.
First year was not fun because she was the only one in the entire school with it. Now there's 4 of them.
Oh wow, that's a
So,
lot in one space.
but she calls herself the OG,
Mm.
and she kind of helps. One of the parents even told me when she went in to change a pump one day that Jayde Michele was the most help she's ever had in the school. She's not shy.
Oh, I know she's not shy. Look, she get it from her mama.
No, I'm shy.
Oh, you shy?
Yeah, I'm shy.
Gotcha.
I think. I don't know. But yeah, she's not, she doesn't step back from helping people. She'll help people.
How was that for you, being that direct advocate in the school system,
So let me
not
say this.
knowing?
Sometimes you are blessed with amazing nurses. The nurse that was in the school was there for 32 years. She retired last year. I contemplated homeschooling with this new nurse.
Your daughter had been in that school since kindergarten.
Yeah. So I had her up till last year, and she was amazing. Barely any phone calls. There was never any her telling me she knew better than me. This one tells me she went to school and she knows more than me and all this other stuff.
She ain't go to the school of hard knocks.
No.
Like, yeah, she don't know about that smarter balance.
She likes to chat back a lot.
Yeah, I was asked that because you having to be that first advocate for your child in the school system. Like a lot of parents, like you don't realize that until something occurs or you have a child living with a disability, and then something happens in the school and you have to stand up and advocate. But entering the school, you had to stand up and advocate. Was wondering if you even knew ahead of her going into school, or how did you find out ahead of her going into school that you would have to be this self-parent advocate, unlike many other parents?
The groups on Facebook, the parents asking about the 5 hours and what clauses they should have in it and stuff like that. I'm the type to study. I don't like to walk into anything, how do you say it, like blindly. I don't like it. So from the day she was diagnosed, I knew at some point she would have to go into school. I started studying. I started taking, if people put up their 504s without their kids' name in it, I was taking screenshots and I was putting this part to that part to this part to that part. And that's how I put it all together. Because when I walked in, you have to realize the school has like the lady that does the 504 plans. Mm-hmm. I had mine typed out and I handed it to them. I was like, this is what I want. Handed it to them. Right. There was no, we're not bartering. This is what I want.
Because we know that in our 504 plan, it's better to have more.
Yeah, than to have less, and then to have
less.
Meeting. Like we did have to have another meeting when she was diagnosed with pandas because she does need access to like the sensory room, and she needs time to, because it causes such anxiety attacks that come out of nowhere, that she needs time to, like, I guess they have like little stations around the school where they have like sensory things on the wall, just so her to be able to go and take a couple of breaths, calm down, and then come back in. And that has, it's messed with the blood sugar too, because people just think that it's carbs and it's not. It's really not.
Carbs are the least of my worries when it comes to blood sugar.
I can tell you when she's having a test at school because I see the line just, it's like
Right.
as soon as they put that paper down with the pencil, or I guess they do it on computers now or whatever, as soon as
Mhm.
that timer goes off, that line goes, shoo.
And just like you prepare for that 504 plan, you're about to be preparing for another part of life because you're, like you said, your child, she's 8, but she's growing at a faster rate and pace than her peers.
Yeah.
So the hormonal challenges,
I was told by the
fluctuations,
endocrinologist that puberty is going to be my worst nightmare.
oh, by far. And like I know like my daughter who's 14, like when she was 10 and started her like menstrual
Yeah.
cycle. And like I got a niece that was 9 and there's a one T1D parent locally. Her daughter started at 9. I
Well,
know,
Jayde Michele said it would be about 9, so she's about 8.5. So they're saying about 9.
right.
Did
So
like all the hormonal blood work and stuff.
as you did for that 504 plan, screenshot
No, no,
down,
I have it all.
got that binder about this thick.
Oh, it's right by the computer.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's the difference. Like, even though I go to Katie for a lot from Bulleting Brothers, she has boys. So even though she's faced it in the boys, we have two different worlds.
The whole nother ball game. Similarities as far as where we start at, like
Yeah.
the rates and all of that stuff, but the growth, it's a lot different for
And I do give her, as much as school is super important, you're allowed mental health days in my house. If you want a day where you don't want to deal with none of that, do it. Don't take advantage of it though. But we do it. We'll go get like pedicures or something. But it opens the door for her to talk about how she feels about it, which I think is a good thing. Always keep the avenue open for them to talk about it.
should always. And as she does grow and growing in her maturity, physically and emotionally, how are you shaping that transition into care? Is she able to today change a pod?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
The only time that PDM is touched by me is at nighttime because they have such control at school. She likes to have control when she comes home. She does ask me like the carbs, like what is the carb count for dinner? She'll put it in. She'll show me to make sure that it's the right number because sometimes she does have like a little dyslexia every now and again. I'll tell her yes, but that's it. Even when she's outside playing, she'll call me on FaceTime before she comes home. She's like, I have a juice box. I'm at 75. I'm still going to do the monkey bars. Like, what should I do? She's very much a part of it. And
That's good.
she does know not to overtreat it. She's like, I want to eat like all of the, the little gummy bears. She's like, but I know I can't. So I'll just have like 7 and then I'll see how my number is. But we do always follow by protein. So she's kind of sick of Reese's Pieces at this point. She's like, I hate them. Like, let's find something else.
Yeah, Reese's Pieces. So I used to just do like 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, or even if like a low fat yogurt type thing.
Now she's into the protein shakes, like the
Mm.
Premier Protein and stuff. So she'll take one of those out with her to the park or something.
Look, she got it. She's
But
mastering
no,
her.
I let her own it. I
She's
really,
mastering her diabetes.
yeah, I think that even if they're 3, you have to let them own it.
Right. I mean, because there's going to be struggles. There are, but just know those struggles that she had, other kids aren't having. So she's being almost bionic. Like she has this extra super strength within
Yeah.
her mentally and physically to overcome situations that where other kids may just be on the playground in the mulch, just screaming and crying, throwing tantrums, which they're allowed to do. But
Always.
you're allowed to do, you're permitted to do that. But she's going to be the one that's going to help pick them up because she knows what she's capable of doing.
We do save the Omnipods, and about every 2 months I monitor it, and she goes outside and she stomps on them and she tells Diabetes how she feels about it. And I think it's a healthy way to get it out.
Right. I have a young man I recorded with in the fall, Chase. He's 16, from the Philadelphia area. He was talking about like burning his supplies.
Yeah, you got to do whatever it takes to get this out.
Right.
You really do. Because if you keep, like I said, again, to the newly diagnosed parents, the spontaneity, it's gone. It's just gone. And it's okay that it's gone because your child is alive. And that's what matters.
That's what matters. She's not only alive, but she's thriving. You're keeping her well, keeping her at her best. She has friends. She's socially.
Oh, please, she's the mayor. That's what she is.
And typically I ask about that, like how does it affect a child, like socially and emotionally? But I already know she a boss.
No, she's the mayor. That's what they call her in the school, in the local park, everything. She's the mayor. I'm just the mom, but she's the mayor.
Right.
We were in a different state. We were in Atlantic City last summer. We went on like a little mini vacation. And people knew her there from the Instagram. They were like, "Oh, that's Type 1 dyslexia." And I'm like, "What the?" But it worked. And then the mom came up and she said her kid was diagnosed, and we wound up hanging out with them. So she doesn't shy away from it. I don't think she understands how much of like an impact that she has by keeping. I was a little nervous because there are creeps on the internet, but I kind of keep that page. I monitor it like super close.
Look, there are creeps on the internet, and I was talking to someone about this yesterday. Because like when I started like my Instagram page, like I used to always show my family and everything, even my dog, because I have a service dog. But I don't do any of that anymore because I used to get DMs from people saying, "Oh, why don't you show your kids and your wife and your dog more? I want to see King." And I'm like, "Why do you want to see my dog and my kids? Like, come on
No,
now."
she had her own TikTok page, and there was a guy on there talking about like, "Oh, when you get older, you'll have a banging body and this." And I was like, "Skirt, no," deleted the whole thing. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna go through my page.
Right. And report all creeps.
Because you don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. Just like even I tell my 14-year-old and my 16-year-old, like when y'all even go to your friend's house, I need to make sure y'all have your ID and your my 16-year-old has his permit. Take it with you. I said because you never know what situation you can
No,
get
you
in.
don't. You don't. It takes one sleepover to change an entire life. That'll have you in therapy for the rest of your life.
Right. Right. And my kids have never done sleepovers.
Nope.
Never. They haven't. My daughter just did her first real sleepover. Her eighth grade formal was 2 weeks ago, and her friend's mom, two of the moms, got a hotel suite for the girls.
Okay.
She goes to an all-girls school. Got a hotel suite for her and her 6 friends, and that was the like. I'm like, I trust those parents. I've known them since they've been in school together for 4 years now, and then everything.
My house is the house where everybody crashes at because
Right.
obviously nobody is equipped to have Jayde Michele sleep over. As much as they'll offer it, we know it's never happening. But like my best friend, her kid, they live like an hour away. So when they come, they both sleep over. So there's no, you know what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yep. Other than grandparents and specifically grandmom's house, like it ain't happening. It ain't happening.
Crazy.
Yeah, people are inhumane. That's what they are. As you navigate this life with your child living with diabetes, we know that there are so many things that are misunderstood, and some people just think like, oh, she's 8 now. She still got diabetes. When it turns 18, when she turns 18, at least she won't have diabetes no more because she won't be considered a juvenile anymore. Has your daughter ever spoken about like, because you said that diabetes is all she truly knows. Has she ever questioned or asked you about like the length of her diabetes?
No, she knows.
She knows. That's good to know.
But she does every night when she does she does like a grateful routine before she goes to bed every night. She does ask for somebody to have enough knowledge to come up with a cure in her lifetime.
Right. And as we do wrap down, my sister D, all these conversations, I do end with this as on the day, Daniela, on the day Jayde Michele, Will, everyone you know living with type 1 diabetes are functionally cured, meaning it's gone. And everyone is cured, not meaning only 2, 3 people have access to this. Nah, it's gone. Vamoose. We speak it into existence because someday, somehow, some way, it will be here. On that day, Jayde Michele is fully cured of type 1 diabetes. I know the strength of you. I know the strength of her. And I know there's so many other things we can do with our time, with our sense of knowledge, with this disease, and being able to help other people with other chronic health conditions. But on that day, your child is fully cured. What do you do?
I'm getting a bottle of Ray and Nephew and I'm flying home. That's what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing.
You taking it on a plane?
Yep. boat, plane, whatever it is, we're going home and we're having a party, and that's that. And
You
either
deserve
way,
that party.
I definitely do. I know I do.
You're doing everything that you can to make sure your child is just,
But this is me having fun too, because I didn't get to have fun for like 5 years. and
that's something else you can share with parents. Like it takes steps to get there.
I'm not downing anybody else. I think that if I'm going on a vacation or if I'm going to a concert, my kid deserves to have it with me.
And so I did write down hope and I circled it because when I asked that question about on the day she's cured, and the reason I asked that is because as we go back and think about that diagnosis, there's the one thing that has to keep us motivated and keep us aligned with our wellness and well-being is that hope. Because I mean, naturally, there will be people do go through complications, and that's more so because of the educators, clinicians, medical providers not aligning people with the best opportunity. But that hope, if we're shared that from the beginning and along our journey, because you've kept that instilled with your baby, like she invokes those powers every night. She speaks about it.
You have to.
That hope keeps us alive, keeps us well, because there may be times where we're like, I can't believe I have type 1 diabetes. And you look in the mirror like, wow, like I really have this.
That's why I wish that certain people online wouldn't gatekeep therapists that they have found or groups that they have found, or even if there was a way that we could do like a Zoom once a month with the kids that don't live near each other, just so they could have their space to talk it out.
That hope is everything. I've created many groups online. I'm not sure if you were originally in this one group. You're not in it now because it's maxed out and there's no room for it. When I did the recording in 2023, 24, I don't know. I do it every year. Diabetes Looks Like Who. And Jayde Michele was on that. When I did that
commercial, yeah.
I created a group for that and you were in it, but that group has maxed out.
I deactivated my thing for a while, so it might have like kicked me out.
So that group maxed out at 250 people, but I keep a tally of how many people have been in and out over the last year. We're up 1,100 people, and it's all people of color living with type 1 diabetes. And when I tell people that I regularly interact with them, like they're like, there's not 250 people you can interact with type 1 diabetes. And I said,
yes, you can.
Last year, it's thousands. And I even showed my endocrinologist, and she's like, how did you do this? And I said, I did this because there was a point in time in my life when I was the only one. I was the only one, literally, like not figuratively, but literally.
Jayde Michele was the only one in that entire school, and that school was from pre-K to 5th grade.
And I remember there were certain things I didn't know until I joined communities.
If it wasn't for the internet, I'd be a lost puppy. I'm not even going to sit here and tell you no stories.
And that's why I built the community. Like the one I built just starting about 3 weeks ago in India has over 200 people. 200 people in India with type 1 diabetes in this one group. 150 plus people in the US, both color, with type 1 diabetes in this one group. My Philly group is maxed out. I have a group in Atlanta because a young lady was needing access to insulin. I built that group. Like I have the parents group I created.
Yes.
Like these groups, and it's because community is everything. We grew up in an era where you could give somebody a cup of, like you could knock on the door for a cup of sugar. Like
we had rent parties back in my day. So if you couldn't make your rent, you threw a party and
it would happen. It would happen. Good times.
Now you live and nobody knows any, but that's why I like where I live, because all the kids know each other, all the parents, as much as we don't have to like each other, but we do, we take turns. I'll go outside today with the snacks. You go outside tomorrow with the snacks. And
that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
We can't lose that sense of community.
You can't. That's why even back in Brownsville, I don't recognize anything. They gentrified it's not the same. There's no more Ante Up. It's not Ante Up anymore. It's like Taylor Swift song or something. I don't know.
Like I remember being 16 to 21, traveling in New York, me and my cousins. Like I remember being in Brooklyn, going to the what is it called? It was like a mall underground. A guy named Yuri. He sold gold.
Hmm.
And you can get your custom fronts and
Alley
stuff.
Square?
Yeah, you get your custom made fronts and all that stuff. And he had the pictures of Redman and Method Man and all
Yep.
them in there. Like I remember those days. I remember getting a car towed in Crown Heights and us having to catch the train home. Like I remember those days. My
I
boy Mason
remember
lived in Crown
sleeping
Heights.
outside for sneakers because you had to. You had to sleep outside. Hopefully, you were the first ones online for the sneakers. As stupid as it is today.
Look, when I was 15 years old, I caught a train. Oh no, a bus. Peter Pan. Remember the Peter Pan bus?
Oh my gosh.
Pan bus. I was in and where was I? I can't remember. I was in Brooklyn. I know. The authority, the Metro Authority pulled
Port
me in.
Authority.
Port Authority, they pulled me into a room thinking I was a runaway. I get into the room, it's all these little girls, 13, 14, all runaways from all around the country. Yeah, I remember those days. Like we lived a life.
No, we did. You brought up DMX. I saw DMX in the tunnel, his first time at the tunnel. I saw Jay-Z his first time at the tunnel. I was there for the Jay-Z DMX battle before either one of them were signed. It was a time to be alive. This whole thing now where you have your phones out, you do the TikTok dances. I'm happy I'm not that.
Right. I'm not a part of the TikTok and all that.
Oh no, I'm a TikTokian. Don't get me wrong. We all on TikTok.
I'm not even big into YouTube at all, other than when I gotta get things done, like work on my car, work on the house, work on the yard. Like I built a deck recently.
TikTok University is real. I'm telling you.
I feel you.
It's how I come up with like her new hairstyles and stuff. Because she always got something going on. But I'll be like, let's look through what's still age appropriate because she wants to go to the 20-year-old hairdos. And I'm like, no, we're gonna stay at 8. You know what I mean?
As long as we can.
Yeah, and I'm gonna figure out what we're gonna do. And that's how we do it.
Right. My sister Daniela D.
You're the only one that gets to call me that, bro.
I truly appreciate you for joining me on this journey that is the Chronically Well podcast, where we have real conversations with the community that needs to be heard, because you and Jayde Michele's stories are stories that not only need to be told, but they need to be instilled and shared with the community, because you're doing a lot, sister. You've done a lot, and you continue to. And you deserve, as I told you, these flowers earlier. So thank you.
I appreciate you.